Hi guys and welcome to Fandom Newbie. My name is Shruti and today I'm going to be talking about the books which I have read in the past 1.5 years or so that I have given 5 out of 5 stars for. So I haven't been reading much this past 1.5 years. I've read maybe about 30 odd books, but these are the books that I think are just absolutely amazing and books that I think everybody should read. So without further ado, let's just get started. Now, the first book that I want to talk about is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I recently read this book on a trip that I was taking to Kerala. And if you guys saw like my previous video, you can see that I was reading this book in that. But I could not put this book down. Now, initially I went into this because of like the name and this like satyr on the cover. I thought this was a mythological fiction book, but I was completely wrong. This is a fantasy book, but it has like themes of dark academia as well. Honestly, going into this book without knowing much about it is, I feel, the best way to experience it because I really don't know how to describe what this book is. It is basically about this man named Piranesi who lives in this labyrinth type of house that is filled with rooms and marble structures and like an underground basement ocean. And we basically, through the course of this book, understand how Piranesi came to live in this mansion, why he's there, and whether or not his life is in actual danger and he needs to escape from this house mansion thing that he lives in. The way the story and the mystery sort of unfolds as you keep reading is what really hooked me to this book. Around 50 or 60 pages in, I had no idea what was going on, but the way that Susanna Clarke has described this mysterious like house and the way the way that she like slowly gives information that then builds and builds and builds to reveal an amazing plot and story. Like, that is what I really liked, and that's what kept me captivated. So yeah, I feel like this is one of those books that you can easily read in one sitting and it's just amazing. So check out Piranesi. I'm sure you guys will really enjoy this one. The next book that I want to talk about is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is honestly one of the best historical fiction World War II books that I have ever read. It is so empathetically written, it is so beautifully written, and the characters in this book are so lovely that you cannot help but fall in love with them and just want to protect them at all costs. So there are a bunch of different points of views in this book. The first is a young boy who is obsessed with science, who very tragically has to join Hitler's army. So he basically becomes a Nazi. The second is a young blind girl who lives in Paris with her father, who is the curator of a museum. And also the story follows how their lives are turned upside down when Hitler occupies France and they basically have to flee Paris and move to kind of like this coastal town where she meets her eccentric uncle who has been in World War I and also has had like the psychological effects of war just affect him really badly, and basically how their lives are shaped because of this move from Paris to this coastal town and what happens to them. These two main characters meet a whole bunch of other characters, and the author has done such an amazing job of giving each of these characters their own unique backstory that really adds so much humanity. And the way that all of these characters' lives sort of intertwine is what makes like the heart of this book. And what I really liked about this book is just the way the tragedies and the horrors of war is described in this book. It's written with a lot of honesty and with a lot of care. Like, there are horrific things that happen to these characters, and yeah, it's just so, I keep saying this, it's so empathetically handled. So if you're looking for a really good historical fiction that focuses on World War II, I highly recommend this book. The next book that I want to talk about is one that I actually have the physical copy for, but I have no idea where it is, and that is Hamlet by Maggie O'Farrell. This book basically talks about the untold story of William Shakespeare's family. So it focuses mainly on his wife, Agnes, and their kids. Honestly, not much is known about the life of William Shakespeare's family, so the author has taken a lot of creative liberty. But if you see, like in the author's note as well, what she says is that there are certain facts which are true that, like, we know happened in William Shakespeare's family's life, but the rest of it is quite embellished, and you know that it's fiction, because the thing that I love that the author has done in this book is that she has blended this work of historical fiction with a lot of magical realism. So this tale about Shakespeare's family almost reads like mythology. One of the things that I really liked about Maggie O'Farrell's writing is her use of metaphors. I feel like it is so exquisitely done. Like, there is a love-making scene in this book, and I have not read any author describe a sexual love scene in quite this way. There were onomatopoeias involved. There were so many metaphors, and not like the really bad, cheesy ones that you read in like smut and like romance novels. No, this was beautifully, poetically, and exquisitely written. It's making me blush right now, but it was really good. Honestly, the other things that she has described, like Agnes's relationship with her mother, and that storyline also reads like it comes out from a mythological fiction book. The writing in this book is honestly what really got me hooked, and it's just really, really beautiful. So again, highly recommend Hamlet, a very good mix of magical realism and historical fiction. The next book that I want to talk about is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This book was such a good, feel-good, cute, amazing love story. Honestly, at this point, I feel Emily Henry can do no wrong. I've only read 2 books by her, and I want to read more by this author because she is one romance author, a hyped romance author that I really, really like. Now, this book is basically an enemies to lovers story where our 2 main characters are rivals in the publishing industry, and they both find themselves in a very small town in like rural America, and they meet and they spend time together, and eventually they fall in love. What I really like about this book is while it uses the very common trope of enemies to lovers, it doesn't use the other very cringy tropes that romance books use. For example, there is one trope that almost every romance book uses where the woman is very like small and petite and helpless, and the man is like 6 feet tall and like muscular and like whatever, and the woman is always like a little bit frightened by the sheer size of the man. And I hate that trope. It makes me cringe and it makes me so angry when I read that trope. So what I really liked about this book is that, I know it's a strange thing, but what I really liked about this book is how both characters are the same size and the same height. And they both are like, it's not like a thing of like opposites attract. They both are highly passionate, highly ambitious people who love their job, and they both are like unlikable in kind of the same way. And I really like that because it was very refreshing to not read a damsel in distress story. This woman is ambitious and passionate and amazing and badass, and she doesn't need a man to save her. She just wants a man who is equal, who understands her, and who she can fall in love with. So I really love this romance book. It's very, very cutely, sweetly written, and also extremely refreshing. So if you like romance and want to read a good romance book, I highly recommend Book Lovers by Emily Henry. The next book that I want to talk about is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. Now, this is another dark academia book, and it basically follows a group of students who are studying Shakespeare in a very elite college in the US. Now, these students are so obsessed with Shakespeare and so passionate about his plays and the characters that he has written that basically the lines between where their on-stage personas end and their real life personas begin kind of gets blurred. So they bring in the theatrics and the dramatics of their on-stage persona, like they bring that into their real life. And when that happens, basically one of them gets charged with murder. So the entire book follows what happened in their college, what happened between this group of friends to lead to such a tragic event, and whether they are actually innocent or guilty of that murder. Again, what I really liked about this book is the way that the way that Shakespeare's plays and his characters and the themes that are discussed in those plays, how it sort of blends into the lives of these characters, and also just the group dynamics between these characters is very interesting to read, because this book is all about like Shakespeare's plays and the dramatics and theatrics of all of that. It's very poetically written again. It is quite a difficult book to like get into. I feel like it's very, very slow and it builds very, very slowly. So yeah, like beware of that. But I honestly got hooked immediately because of that poetic writing style. If you like the stage and drama, and you like stories about a group of very quirky, very well-written characters, because I really like character-driven stories as well. So this is also quite a character-driven story. So if you like stories about a group of quirky people who are very passionate about what they do, then, and also like a book with like mystery and intrigue, then I highly recommend If We Were Villains by ML Rio. And the last book that I want to talk about is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I have done an entire vlog about the series, so I will link it up here if you guys want to check it out, and keep this short. But basically, this is a queer love story between two high school boys, and it is again just the sweetest, cutest, like most heartwarming book that I have ever read. These are actually graphic novels, so they are very, very easy to get through. Perfect for beginners who want to get into reading, perfect for beginners who want to start reading graphic novels. Just overall a very, very, very cute, sweet love story that tackles a whole lot of issues that teenagers deal with. Yeah, great representation, great storytelling, very, very, very lovable characters, and overall just an amazing book series. I still have to read the 5th one. I think it's out. Please let me know in the comments if it's out or not. I've been so disconnected from like the entire book community thing. So please let me know if Heartstopper Volume 5 is out, because I need to read that. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys got some amazing book recommendations. Let me know down below what books you guys have read in the past 1 year that I haven't been posting on this channel. Let me know down below so that I can get some good recommendations, because I am finally reading again and I would really like to read some amazing books. So please let me know down in the comments what your recommendations are. And of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because I will be posting more. Yes, yes, hold me accountable. I will be posting more. Yep, that's it for this time. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.